Okay, so this is where we stopped last week. We're trying to finalize this our to-do list. I know we've had so many things written here, but one thing I wanted us to note is, okay, so we've learned about local storage, how we can store to-dos in local storage. Now, to show you how local storage works, once I open my browser, if I open my browser and you inspect, it still gives me this, and I'm sure, let me see. This is something we did last week, but see, I have my to-dos here and I have Drive. So it will still supply me the data I saved in it. So each time you close your browser and open so this is where we can retrieve data. We stopped last not deleted until you go and delete it manually. Either using the to-do list. I know we've had some using the remove item. But one thing I wanted us to note, clicking and deleting it from your console itself. Okay, so we've learned about local storage. So basically, how we can store on line 6, you are calling storage. Now to show you how local storage works. So once I open my browser, if I open my browser and you inspect, it still gives me this, and I'm sure. Let me see. This is something we did last week, but see, I have my to-dos here and I have Drive, so it will still supply me the data I saved in it. So each time you close your browser and open it, you can retrieve basically what we're doing here is until you go and delete it manually. Store to-dos either using each of the elements in the to-do. We are creating a P element, the remove item, or we are attaching and the inner text of the P element console itself. This element here, so you know how to use it works. So all right, then we are appending basically on line 6, you are calling the to-dos from local storage. We append it to we are we say we append it to this div that we created up here. This one was already created, and that's all for now. So this is our function that adds our new to-do. So it collects to-dos from the store and it adds it. So if I go ahead and type another one item, let's say I type Drive, let's say teach. So basically what we're doing here is we are stored to-dos for each of the elements in the to-do. Okay, yeah, this was the P element. It was not updating here, but it was updating on the attaching the inner text of the P element. But that is not what we want. This element here, display. You know how to use for each and likewise display. Then we append it to this div. We append it to okay, we say we append it to this div that we created up here. This one was already created, and that's all for now. Can you hear me? Our function that adds our new to-do. So it collects to-dos from the store and it adds it. So if I go ahead and type another one item, let's say I type Drive, let's say teach. Yeah, sorry, it's not. Okay, yeah, this was where we stopped. It was not updating here, but it was updating on local storage. If I refresh, you get it. Yeah, got it. But that is not what we want. We want it to also display here. Okay, so I've now got it displayed here. But what I also want is once I enter, I also want it updated here. So let's go ahead and fix that. That's what we not fix so far. To-dos. Okay, so and how do I do that? So this is the function that allows that to happen. So when I click on my submit, I need it to be added to my to-dos again. Okay, so how do I do that? Prevent to-dos value. All right, to-dos.array. I push the new value into my array. I saved it. This is where I save it to my local storage. Okay, let me move this up. Then I change the value to 0. But before then, I'm supposed to do something on this line. Yeah. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? So I've now got it displayed here to do. But what I also want is once I enter, I also want it updated here. So let's go ahead and fix that. That's what we've not fixed so far. Okay, so and how do I do that? So this is the function that allows that to happen. So when I click on my submit, I need it to be added to my to-dos again. Okay, so how do I do that? This paragraph value, I got the value to to-dos.array. I push the new value into my array. I saved it. This is where I save it to my local storage. Okay, let me move this up. Then I change the value to 0. But before then, I'm supposed to do something on this line. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to do supposed to do paragraph. Okay. Okay, let's move this outside this function. The reason being that so that it can be used to add this guy too. But if it's inside that function, it's limited to that paragraph. Add to it. Adding. Okay. How do I have to do array here? Not find name to do array. Mm, Okay. Okay, let's move this outside this function. The reason being that so that it can be used by this guy too. But if it's inside that function, it is limited to the idea is to push it to array. Then after pushing it to array, we update this para just as we did here. Okay. But yeah, what would now do is to do array here. We now say paragraph equal to plus equal to and we now update it with this new to do item. Do item. Okay, so let's see. Once we refresh, okay, why is it not grabbing? It's supposed to be stored to this. Sorry. The idea is to push it to array. Then after pushing it to array, we update this para just as we did here. Okay. But yeah, what we'll now do is we now say paragraph equal to plus equal to and we'll now update it with this new to do item. Do item. That's not grabbing. So let's see. Once we refresh, it's connected it. Let's console log this as to. Okay, why is it not grabbing this? If I refresh, I have it here. Why is it not working? Let's see what it is. And I said, this item we do. Okay, and this is not missing it. Let's not grabbing the connected it. Let's console log this as to. Okay, for each of them, we're supposed to create a key. This thing is rightly supposed to be here. If I refresh, for each of them, is supposed to create a key. I have it here. Why is it not working? Create a paragraph for each of them. You want it. And I said, now one is sorted out. In this one, we do. Remember, we need to update what we have in our display. Okay, so let me remove this event. Like this. That now the page will refresh, so it will load automatically from the local storage. Okay, for each of them, we're supposed to create a key. This thing is rightly supposed to be here. 39. For each of them, we're supposed to create a key. To create a paragraph for each of them. So now one is sorted out. In this one, whenever we need to update what we have in our display. Okay, so let me remove this event. Like this. That now the page will refresh, so it will load automatically from the local storage. Oh, okay. Setting to do's array. I'm supposed to set stores to do's. Yeah, sometimes it happens. Refresh again. Okay, it's not working. Now see the idea. So you get the concept. What we are doing here basically is we're just updating our local storage, and because I removed the prevent defaults, the page will naturally reload. And when it reloads, it will now run the whole of this again from the beginning. So and once it's running it from the beginning, it will pick from our local storage. Oh, okay. And set it to those array of this set to dot to those. I don't know if that makes sense. Sometimes it happens. Description. Refresh again. I'm supposed to have this to do description, class names. I don't want to change. I want it to do, I want this to be working. I want this to be like this. Now see the idea. So you get the concept. What we're doing here basically is para. We're just updating our local storage, and because I removed the prevent defaults, the page will naturally reload. And when it reloads, it will now reload it. It will now run the whole of this again from beginning. Yeah, this is what once it's running it from the beginning, it will pick from our local storage. So we basically done what is supposed to be. This is just a small to do. You can do more. You can add a button to delete to edit. We are just wanted to show us how local storage works and how local storage works and how you can have this your UI interface using the local storage. I don't want to change. I want it to. So if you want to delete, you can come here and delete. But we can also create a method that deletes everything from here. You can create each button for each of them. For example, let's say under this my for each, and I say okay, after doing this, what did we do? Class name. We've created each of them will be now this guy. So now I come here and say, okay, I want to create another one. This is what I wanted. After creating a paragraph, I want to so we basically done like all this one. This is just a small to do button. You can do more. You can add a button to delete to edit. Hello, I hope you are still following. We are just wanted to show us how local storage works. Hello, and how local storage works and how you can update your UI. User interface. Felix has left the call. Sorry. Right. So if you want to delete, you can come here and delete. But you can also create a method that deletes everything from here. You can create each button for each of them. For example, let's say under this my for each, and I say okay, after doing this, hear you if you're speaking. What did we do? Let's call this one to do edit created. I'll call this one this guy. So now I come here and say okay, I want to create another one I called. After creating a paragraph, I want to create button. This is the I call this one lead button. Let's call this one the edit button. Hello, I hope you are still. So what we're basically doing is we are creating two buttons. Hello, one will be used for edits and one will be used to delete. So in this button that we're creating now, Felix, in each of these paragraphs, we also need to append. We also need to append it down here, his network or something. After appending this, I also need to append the buttons. I can't hear you if you're speaking. Here, let's call this one do edit button. I'll call this one. I would really love to hear from you. So I'm sure because you're the only one here now since Felix. I think it's his network because he was complaining about the lead button. And I used to call this one the edit button. So what else? What else? What else? So if I append this, so what we're basically doing is we're creating two buttons. So now have two edits and one buttons here. So in this button that we're creating now, in each of these paragraphs, so we also need to append. It's not defined. We also need to append it down here to after appending this, I also need to append. Oh, sorry. I'm supposed to append this inside, not here. Edit. Yeah, it's not defined because it's inside here. Come and see. All right. I would really love to hear from you. Now, this is what we have. Because you're the only one here now since Felix. Okay. I think it's his network because he was complaining about that network. Okay. So what else? What else? What else? So if I append it this way, I go and check it and refresh. I need it to appear on the same. So we now have three buttons here. to do a div for it's not the individual elements. I need it to wrap the paragraph and the buttons together. I need to wrap the paragraph and the buttons together. So basically, what I will do is all this. So let me this inside. I'll create another one, another div. It's not defined both of them. Define inside. I'll call it to do. All right, to do item div. If I've so now this is what we have. So I will now have item. Okay. What do I even use that one to do? I need it to appear. I need it to appear on the same line with this. Okay. Div to this. Let's call it item. Call another div. So for the individual elements, I need it to wrap the paragraph and the button together. I will need to now wrap the paragraph and the button together. I'm appending. So basically, what I will do is call this. So let me. I'll create another one, another div for the both of them. To wrap this string. I'll call it to do. This one to do item div. I don't know if I've called anything like that. Item. Okay. What did I even use that one to do? Sorry. Okay. Are you guys following me? Hello? Let's call it item. Call another div. I need your response, please. So
yes, I'm following you, sir.
Append. Okay. Now if we inspect this is
yes,
what
I'm
we
with
have.
you.
If we inspect this now, this is what we have. Let's go ahead and inspect. We'll see. You have an idea what I'm trying to do. This is the container, main container, and these are H1 elements. These are form elements. Then these are input elements, the button elements. Then we now have another div that contains these buttons first. I think that was it. Now the idea is I need to move these buttons. Are you guys following me? I need to move these buttons to align here. Hello? Like what I want to achieve is okay. I need to wrap this paragraph in another div and assign two buttons to it. Wrap this in another.
Yes, I'm following you, sir.
Okay, these buttons are supposed to be by the side.
Yes, I'm with you.
They are supposed to be. This is what we have. So we are creating another div that will wrap this inside and now wrap the buttons. So let's go ahead and try to do this. Is the container. If I want to do that, I can see main container and these are H1 elements. These are form elements. Then these are input elements. I've created the button elements. So I need to append my paragraph to this div and append every other thing to this item. This item I created these buttons first. So if I want to do that, now the idea is I need to move these buttons. I need to move these buttons to align here. This let me append to item. Like what I want to achieve is okay. Yes, I need to wrap this paragraph in another div and assign two buttons to it. Wrap this in another div. So these buttons are supposed to be by the side. They are supposed to be. They are supposed to be. So we are creating another div that will wrap this inside and now wrap the buttons. So let's go ahead and do that. So if I want to do that, I can see. I've created the div here. I've created the div here. I need to append my paragraph to this div and append everything to this item. This item I created here. Okay, so if I want to do that, I come and I say I've appended this to item, appended this to item. To this, I need to still append. I need to still append item. Yeah. I need to still append item to item div. I'm appending it to item now. Because this item now is now a child of item div. And say okay, do item. Yeah, sorry. I know we have to do plenty of these things. But so I'm appending to item JavaScript for you. Look nice, unless I made a mistake. Okay, so we are getting there. So these two buttons are supposed to be with this guy. The only thing we need to know now is to use our CSS to align them to be in line with it. So we are getting appended this to item, appended this to item. Also, I need to still append this class name I need to still append item. The big guy, yeah, which is the item. I need to still append item to item, my item that I created. This one. I will change this class name item now is now a child of item div. So the That it will now wrap them all. Wrap both the buttons and yes, exactly. Yeah. After doing that, another thing sorry, I know we have to give this one but JavaScript for you. We do item. Okay, so we are getting there. So these two buttons are supposed to be with this guy. The only thing we need to do now is to use our CSS to do edit button. Sorry, to do edit button. And I say also so this class name I give this guy, I need to give it to the big guy now, which is the item itself. Inner text, which is my item that I created. This one I want to call this one. I will change this class name to item. So the all of them on that it will now wrap them all. Please, so if there is something you don't understand, just call my attention immediately. You know, this can be a little bit, yeah. After doing that, it's not complicated, but because I have to write plenty things, do plenty things manually at times, it's very complicated. So this one is the item. I'm basically doing item property. I call this one that is to do edit button. Sorry, to do edit button, and I say okay. I go ahead and also I have my edit and inner text. Sorry. Okay, so the rest of the job can be done with CSS. I can align them this way with CSS. So when this guy, this one I want to call the class for this guy is called to do description. Let me go to my CSS, look for to do description, all of them are one. That's the background color. Let me give it display flex. So if there is something you don't understand, just call my attention immediately. Yeah, display flex. This can be a little bit appear on the same line. It's not complicated, but because I have to write plenty things, do plenty things manually at times, it looks very complicated. So this one is the delete. What I'm basically doing is, okay, I call this one delete. Okay, I go ahead and refresh. Fine. I have my edit and delete buttons exactly. Fine. Okay, so the rest of the job can be done with CSS. I can align them this way with CSS. Space, so with this guy, the class for this guy is called to do description. Let me go to my CSS. But I want my P to be bigger. This other one smaller. That's the background color. Let me give it P. The flex. Okay, yeah, this is our P. Our P element is appear on the same line. The paragraph that we created. The this is our paragraph. Now I would like our paragraph to be bigger than this guy. So let me give it a class name so that I can edit it. Right. So do dot para do para dot class name just fine. Or I can just go here straight. Since it's the only paragraph I have inside there. Just a space come here inside of this page from there. I call this right P. But I want my P to be bigger. I see the width of all. So let's look for a P. Let's say width. We should take the data with let's say 7. This is our P. Our P element is this guy. So that's the paragraph that we created. Where is it? The whole of my P will be here. This is our paragraph. Now, I like our paragraph. Now, my buttons I can also bigger than this guy. So let me give it a class name so I can edit it. They just stay within a particular paragraph. Para dot class name. So I call my button say or I can just go here straight. And then this is the only paragraph I have inside there. I'll just come here straight. Adding top and bottom. Let me just get from there. This is 5 pixel. I call this guy P. I see the width of the vision. Let's see width. We should take the data with let's say 70%. Others will share 30%. The whole of my P will be here. This one. So I have my buttons here. Right. Now my buttons, I can also give my buttons class size. This one, right. They just stay within a particular size. So I call my button say let me see. Adding top and bottom. Let me just give it 5 pixel. All right. So I haven't done that. I can change. Yes, so this is what I now have. I have my buttons here. There are no functional for now. The idea is that if I click on this, I can delete it. I click on this, I can edit it. Can make that work. But I just wanted us to just be done with this so that we can proceed to other things. So if I add more, say, go to school. Yeah. Okay, I should have it there. Go to school. So as I add it, it has. But we can do something. Right. We want this thing to appear up here instead of appearing that. I can change. Like the latest one we enter, we want it to be up. Can we remember what we can do to make that work? Anybody? Can you remind me? Yes. So this is what I know. There's an array method that helps you to reverse an array. Working. There are no functional for now. The idea is that if I click on this, I can delete it. I click on this, I can edit it. Can make that work. But I just wanted us to just be done with this so that we can reverse this array. So if I add now, say assign it a variable, call it school, const, say equal, okay, I should have it there, go to school. So as I add it, it has. But we can do something. We want this thing to appear up here instead of appearing down. That is the latest one we enter, we want it to be up. Now, can we remember how we just have to think of something that will make that work? Another person can decide. Can you remind me to use? Another person can decide to use something. There's an array method that helps you. Have to look for something that will work and that is also accepted. So we can go ahead and can use something that's probably. Let me put it here. So we'll see reverse. Automatically, this guy is supposed to start from. So whichever array this array enters first, I can assign it a variable. So if I enter learning, say equal JavaScript, I expect it to be up now instead of down. Okay, so you see learning JavaScript. All right, so this is our small to-do app that we just constructed. I just wanted us to go through this so I will understand how local storage works and other things. Now one thing in JavaScript, you just have to think of something that will do delete. Another person can decide to click on this to delete. Another person can decide to use something else to edit this thing. Just have to look for something. So any questions so far? Also, I want us to do something that is also accepted in the convention. Any questions on this? That probably is it well understood? Let me put it here. We have an assignment like this to go and create it to do. I can give you this assignment. This guy is supposed to start from. Create the edit and if you want to create that, yes, your for each has something that it gives you. Learning. Let me hover around it. You have the element and you have the index. Now this index is very useful. Okay? So you see learning JavaScript. You'll be using it if you need to edit. The idea is that app that we just constructed. I just wanted us to map through one you will understand how against the index and delete that particular one. Now we can do just that. We can do delete. All right. Just so that when you click on this, you delete this, and when you click, you can have the start and look at API. All right. So any questions so far? I want us to do something else. All right. Any questions before this time? Any questions on this? And is it well understood? You have an assignment like this to go and create it to do. I can give you this assignment and say, okay, create the edit and delete. And if you want to create that, so your for each has something that it gives you. Let me hover around it. When we click on it, so let's also look. You have the element and you have the index. Now this index is very useful. You'll be using it if you need to edit. The idea is that when you click on delete, it will map the one you deleted against the index and delete that particular one and not all. Just a hint. All right. So this time has gone. But when the next time starts, we look at APIs. I have to fetch data. Can anybody help me? All right, any questions before this time? I need to pass this element here. Pass of array. Just a sec, let's see. Okay. Okay. Yeah. This is what I was. If I click on it, it gives me the elements. have the element. Okay, have it now, sorry. That's 0. What we simply want to do is to say, okay, when we click, now say if uh, oh yeah, we'll click on it to say verse reduce. Okay, let's do map first. Then I'll show you how to use filter to make it work. Oh, let's just use filter. Reverse array does filter. What we filter the reverse reduce. And what we're simply doing is say to do. Okay, they will now say is what I want to do is if my to do the present to do that I am on dot id, if my present to do index, that is the index of my present to do, if it is equal to, if my to do so if this is equal to I, my to do index always equal to I. This will always return functions in JavaScript. Please, how do you access index of an array again? Remind me, how do you access index of an array? Somebody should remind me. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, how do you access index of an array again? Me.
Okay, it's the
Just go
name
ahead.
of the array. The name of the array dot the key.
The name of the array dot what?
The name of the array dot key.
I know, but there are that method looks a little bit. Let me see. Why is it? If I do this, I should be able to get.
I think if you want to access that G,
I want to access the index of this array. Okay, I think this guy also
like
provides me with index. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was getting it mixed up. So this guy also provides me with index. So if this index here, if this I here, let me call this one index. If this index here, this one is for this. If this index here is equal to this one that is being released here. So what I'm simply saying is that I need this thing to give me, I need this, so this will return, what am I writing? Just wait, let me use map method. So I did array.map. So I'm mapping the array, reverse array again. And I say pass to do. Sorry, sometimes it gets like this, but nothing complicated. And I said if what I want to do is this, if but this one also provides me with index. Okay. So what I simply want to do, let me comment this out. The index that this guy provides me, index, is equal to the index I have up. So if this is equal, If the both of them are equal, I want to do something else. And if they are not equal, I want to do something else. If the both of them are equal, I want to return. I want to now achieve this with map. Okay, if they are not equal, I want to remove it from here. Better I do that with filter removes. I can do filter. I say if this guy is equal to this guy, it will be true. So it will return the arrays that for which this thing is false. For me, this is what I want to achieve. So let's see. So return the array for which this is false. I'm trying to check something. Make confirm and make name. Okay, yeah, this is what I want to achieve. So basically, it's returning this. To say, say, yeah, and we have to find a way to send it back to local storage, then reload. Let me see. Then we can now go ahead and say, if we do that, we'll now replace it with this. This is a way of doing it, but I'm not sure this is the best. But let's see. Replace it with this result. Okay, results. Okay. We are basically replacing what we have before with this result. Enter with delete. And what else? Let's see. Let me see what happens here. If I go ahead and delete, but I don't want to refresh it. No, I want it to refresh on its own. Basically, what we are basically doing here is now when we delete, we are resetting our local storage. Because I'm using the same mean, it will remove what was there before and replace it with this new result. This reverse, what reverse does is what this simply means on this line is that please go through this my use array using the index. If this index is the index of the to do you're looking at, your filter collects your array and returns an array and returns a set of array for which your condition is true. Now, what I'm simply saying here is that compare the index of the array, because I'm filtering the whole array now. It's like I take the array one by one, how to filter them. When you get to array one, collect the index of array one and compare it with the index of this array existing here, the parents for each produces for us. So if they are, this symbol means negative. If it is not equal, if they are not equal, that particular one that is not equal will not be returned. That particular one for which this condition is true, for which this condition is false, sorry, will not be equal. Because, okay, let's say we take this first one, this is array 0. If I come here, from here I have 0. So because I say this one is not equal to this one, so it will not return the one for which it is false. It will not return the others. So that is why it is returning other, it's giving me the other array which I saved in this rest. And if I pass it to my local storage, it will just replace what I have in my local storage. So here I can manually come here and ask it to reload. I think there is a way you say one JavaScript to reload. You say there's a reload method. I think let me see the reload method. Right. So if I go ahead and do this, okay. There's a reload method. Is it Windows.load? Document. I think I'll check it. We'll check it now. There's something. There's a method that causes the browser to reload itself. I remember it as time goes. But the basic thing is what I want to do. You understand? So that when I delete each of these things, I wouldn't have to start refreshing my page for you to come back. For you to come back, I just have to. The function will just play itself naturally and reload itself. Okay. All right. So this is basically how to delete. There are different ways. Of course, you can do your own in another way, but this is one of them. And I don't know if there's any question so that I can answer the question. What we've basically done is to delete. So if I go ahead and add this, I still get them back. Say go to school. Go to school. All right. So we see go to school there. Then if I delete anyone I delete this. But just there is a method that causes the browser to reload. That's what I'm trying to there's a method that causes browser to so it's been long I use this. You can also check it out. It's a popular method, isn't it? Has anybody seen it? Yeah, I think I've seen it. Let's see. I think I've seen it. I know it's location, but reload. I think so. Let's see. So let me delete. Let me refresh this. Once I delete any of these, yeah, it reloads. When it's reloading now, it will now pick it from the local storage. Please, is this clear enough? Is it something we understand? I know there are, as I said, there are other ways of doing this, but I prefer this filter because it's quite. I know you can do it with mapping. You can map it and use the if method, like we were trying to do. You say if this is equal to this, you return an array that doesn't. Now you now have to do slice your array, remove the one that it is equal to, which I think is a little bit more complex. So, but this one is quite straightforward. The filter method returns. It will return the set of arrays for which your condition is true. So anyone for which the condition it will return a set of arrays for which your condition is true. So anyone for which your condition is not true will be removed from the array automatically. So to filter, no, am I mixing it up? No, it will filter from the array, the particular array for which your condition is true. So inside this array, I'm saying that this index should not be equal to this one. So it will remove the one that it is equal to because should not be equal is a true statement in this case now. So I want a statement that says, let this part not be equal to this part. That is my truth statement. So anyone that is not aligned with that truth statement is a false. So it will remove that one from the set of array. And then what we basically did was to reload our local storage. That is to save those things back in our local storage using the same name. Once you're using the same name, you have it there. And our page will refresh. Any questions, please? and our to-do app is going. Maybe what we'll do as we proceed in the class, before we enter React, we'll beautify it and make it look nicer. But I don't want us to dwell too much on this. This is just the basic to-do application. Let me say, uh, let me say, end the meeting. Any questions, please, Felix, Uzi? Yeah, so we have them there. Any questions, please?
I didn't get everything. I was
Sorry, you
having
didn't get
serious
what?
network issue. I didn't get everything. So I don't. I didn't get it. Like this delete that you did. I was having network issue.
Okay, let me explain it again. Now, on each of our deletes, remember that this is the delete button on line 17. Now, what we are simply doing is calling add event listener on our delete button, and the add event listener is click, which we all know. Now, when we call add event listener, we now pass a function that we want to run by giving it an instruction what it should do. And what is that function? We are simply saying this is the function that we want to run. Oh, add event listener. We want our array, our main array. We want to filter our main array. To filter our main array, we'll now remove the array that is not, that does not, okay, the array for which our condition is true. And now keep every other array. Of course, that is what filter method does. Filter methods removes the array for which your condition is true and returns the other arrays for you. So what we are simply saying here is that we need it to return the array for which, because if this is our array, the whole of our array. Now we are filtering it. Filtering it means you take the first one, take the index of the first one, because this thing gives us gives us these values, the main item itself and the index of the item. Now, if we take the index of the item, now what we are doing here, we are comparing it to the index of the for each that we ran here. Because remember that this element, this to do delete, is what we formed here for each of the items. So which means that for the first to do, we are forming the to do delete. For the second to do, we are forming the to do delete. So let's assume that this is our first to do. So after forming the delete, we now come here, that delete that we want to form, we want to add an event listener to it. And we are saying that, okay, for this first element, this I is this one here, and it is this one here, this one here. So for this first element that has an index 0, now run the other to-dos, filter them, bringing out each of their index, because we have the index here. You can access their index here using the filter method. Now check the index of the current one that has that button and compare it with the whole array. Of course, it's always still be in the whole array. So what we are telling filter to do is remove any index that matches this one here that is already that index 0. So it will now go through the others array again and remove the index 0, the one that has index 0 in the array. So this negative, this means not equal to. So what you are saying that it means that if it is not equal to, that condition has been fulfilled. So you remove the array that fulfills our filter condition, which is remove the array, leave the set of array that fulfills our filter condition and remove the one that does not fulfill our filter condition. So what it basically does is it will not take, remember that we are still on this one that has index 0 and it's going through the whole array again. So when it now picks the array that is index 0 from this one now, from this filter, it will compare it to this already existing index and say that, okay, this index 0 equal to, I've seen is match in this new iteration I'm doing now, which means that array that has that index is not supposed to be anymore there. So we'll now delete it. After deleting it, we now have a new set of array that is returned. That new set of array does not have that array that matches this index, because that is what filter does for us. So that new set of array that we have, all we did is to store it in our local storage. When we store in our local storage, we now reloaded our the page again. And remember that whenever we reload, this is our method there. Whenever we reload, it picks from the first thing we said JavaScript should do for us is to go to our local storage and pick elements that are stored with the to-do name. So it will now go and pick this one that we adjusted there and run the whole script again. beginning from up. But of course, it will not run this one because this one is an action script. Until we click or we do something, this one will not run. So it will basically just stop here. Is it clear now? Hello, Felix.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I think Uzi's mic is bad or something. So I haven't done this. I'll just, our time is fast spent. I wanted to introduce APIs. Okay, I'll just explain it. Now we've gone far, we talk of local storage and the likes. Now imagine we are doing to this here. Imagine you now have sensitive information that you want to store. Imagine you have a situation where you have your sort of to-dos that you've planned and you don't want anybody to see it. If I have access to the computer, all I need to do is to come and click here. And I'm already seeing all you've planned. Let's say for some reason you don't want anybody to see it. That is why local storage is never the secure way of storing information. It's never the secure way of storing information. It's never the secure way of storing information. That is where our database system comes in place, which is implemented through the back end. But now, just as local storage, just as this code have access to the local storage, this one is an API. This local storage is an API that is being provided. Now, introduction to API, application programming interface. What the API simply does is communicate with the back end to get information for the front end. In this our case, this our local storage is an API provided by local storage, but it only works with the browser because it's stored in the browser. Now we now have other ways of accessing things that are not stored inside our browser, but stored outside of our browsers. So application programming interface outside of our browser. Now, before we go into that, this subject might be a little bit complicated, but I think I also have to. You can see my screen. I want to search for something. Synchronous and asynchronous JavaScript. Synchronous and asynchronous JavaScript. I will explain what synchronous and asynchronous JavaScript means. I'm looking for Mozilla docs. Mozilla docs explanation. I think I prefer their explanation. It's quite detailed. I say, okay, let me search you. Synchronous. Okay. I want to explain a little bit of what API does. Now I want us to look at this together. It says HTTP request supports both synchronous and asynchronous JavaScript. When they say something is synchronous, it means that it happens like this. Like this, all these codes that will be writing. Let me even use this one to explain. You remember when I told you that each time our page refreshes, what happens? This code will first run, this one will first run, this one will first run. This JavaScript that we're writing here is a synchronous JavaScript, except the local storage that we are calling. Please don't get me wrong, except this one that is happening here. The rest of our codes are synchronous codes. Now, I will say that synchronous JavaScript just JavaScript that happens line by line, one after the other, beginning from top to bottom. But as the name implies, asynchronous is JavaScript has this ability to run a function. Now, asynchronous is I'm running a function. After maybe I run number one, this line on line 8. I've not gotten the result from line 8. JavaScript will not wait to get result from line 8 to move to the next line. JavaScript will leave line 8, continue running and go to line 12. After running line 12, when the result of line 8 is available, JavaScript will now bring it to where I need it and display it for me there. So what it does is that it doesn't break your loading. An example of an asynchronous JavaScript is the API calls that we make. Okay, imagine for example, we all use GTBank and I have registered as a customer in GTBank. You've registered as a customer in GTBank. I will log on to GTBank website to access my information. Now, GTBank has a database where it is stored. What the API does is to communicate with the database using the data I enter and comparing it just as we are comparing here. It's the same thing that happens behind the scene. It will now go to the database and compare and say, okay, is there a customer stored with this name, this ID in this place? If it is stored, it will now fetch it out. Now imagine for a brief second, GTBank has a problem. their network has issues, and my information couldn't come out. Imagine that you too, you make a request to GTBank, and if GTBank has to wait for me for my own to finish loading and bring up my result before meeting your result, just imagine the chaos that it will cause. So just if you are Synchronous JavaScript helps us. Why my own data is being searched for, if there is a problem behind the scene, it will keep doing that one. And when you make a request, the same from the same database, your own information can, if your own is ready available, will be displayed immediately. Then anytime my own is ready, it will produce my own and send me my own information. That is what asynchronous means. Despite the fact that I made a request before you, I entered the system before you, but because there is probably it was trying to sort out my own data or something, it will not wait for me to, it will not wait to serve me before serving you. And your own is ready, it will collect yours, serve you, you continue. Then while me, I continue waiting. And during that waiting period, the browser also has some UI system with loading or other things. But basically, this is what asynchronous JavaScript helps us to achieve. So this is just a layman explanation, so that when you go ahead and start reading this documentation, you have this behind your mind. Synchronous is step by step. I don't have to wait. We have to wait for one activity or one request or one function to run before going to the next one. But asynchronous is go. If there is a delay in getting a result from this other line of code, skip it, continue, and later serve the result. That is what asynchronous JavaScript means. And one of the ways, one of the things that help us, that help the browser get information in an asynchronous way, is the application programming interface, which is the API that I mentioned earlier. Is that clear? So you can go ahead and read all this. It says, if you use an asynchronous, so you receive a callback when the data has been received, okay, blah, blah, blah. It has a very good explanation on this. I think you should go and read it. And one thing asynchronous JavaScript helps us do, just for you to know, in case of an interview, it helps us to prevent code blocking. You already know what code blocking simply means. Your request does not block my own code. So the code will run. If it gets to a code that needs to perform something that is outside the browser, that depends on an external source to get information, it does not block the next code. It rather keeps running that one, moves to the next code, and whenever the result is ready, it serves us the results. All right. So please, that is what the difference between synchronous and asynchronous. You can go ahead and read this documentation. It explains it very well. And if you have any questions, we can answer in our next class. But I just wanted to introduce that part of the point that this is what we'll be looking into. I will now look at how to fetch data, how to fetch information, and we use an API. We use a random user. There's an API called random user API. It's just an API that gives us random users, as the name implies. Random. So you just give us some random user. I think we are going to explore this. We are going to explore it in our next class. So to give you, it can just give you a username like this, face, name, and some other things. Yeah, I think it gives. Just a load. But yeah. So it gives you just random images, names, face. So I want to see how we use this API generating this API to generate different random users and display them on our page. All right. So you can see their name, everything displayed. Just these are just random. You can use it to form anything you want to use it for. All right. So this is where I want us to stop today, and I've given you an insight of what we'll be doing from next week by God's grace. Any questions, please?